Good morning, everyone. Good morning. Welcome to the Duron Morning Show. I hope everyone had a great weekend. Today is February 22nd, 2021. It's going to be an awesome Monday. Today's episode is episode 29, so we're almost at 30. For those of you that don't know, I strive for all the zeros, the 30s, 40s, 50. I'm really waiting for number 50. Like I tell everyone, thank you for all the support that you've given me on either on YouTube or any social media platform, or the live listeners. Welcome to any brand new listeners. Thank you, honestly. So let's just dive right into today's episode. Take a gulp of this lucky water. Let's get into it. So, apologize for the hair too. I did my hair last night. You can see the curls kinda, but then I slept on it. So from far away, it looks like an afro, but I promise they're there. I promise they're there. For those of you that are just live listening, you couldn't see, but I did my hair last night, and then I slept on it, and I ruined it. Haircut soon come, haircut soon come. Alright, so to dive right into episode 29, what 2020 taught me. I'm always 100% honest with you guys. To be honest, it's not only going to be about what 2020 has taught me, it's going to be about life lessons as well. But I thought the caption would be better as what 2020 taught me, because I did a lot in 2020 and I rushed into a lot because of how hard I was going, how full steam ahead I was coming off of 2019 into 2020. And because, as everyone knows, the pandemic came and ruined that real quick. Came and put a break on me. So let's just dive right into that and talk about it. What 2020 has taught me and what life has just taught me. Why this topic even came up, I always like to go there first, tell you guys how I came up with this, and then it leads the rest of the conversation the rest of the way. So my shirt. What brought this up is I'm currently working on my house. I think you guys have heard me say this tons of times. If you're new to the show, I bought a house in 2019, and I'm currently renovating it myself. I've learned everything about renovation either through my dad or or YouTube, honestly. So that's really it. So from there, I just went full steam ahead. So to break it down to you guys, in 2019, I went and bought my first car, and then I got licensed as a realtor, and then I got my first job. My first car, and then I got my first real estate job. I was an inside sales agent before transitioning to an outside sales agent. So that helped me save up a lot of money. I was working at my first. I had internships before, but this was kind of like my real first suit and tie. Got to get dressed up every day job. And then from there, after saving up all that money, I went and bought a house in December. So I bought the car in March, got the job in May, bought the house in December. And I had 2 jobs at the time. I had always been working, so I was working 2 jobs at the time. So it wasn't like I just got this job paying me $100 an hour or something. I had 2 jobs, which helped me save a lot of money. And I was in college, so I didn't have nearly as many bills as I have right now. So after doing all that, after feeling so accomplished and achieving a lot of goals, I was obviously full steam ahead. Nothing could stop me. I went into 2020. I transitioned on January 1st. I transitioned to an outside sales agent, and then I made my first real estate sale February something. I don't remember when the closing date was. If you check my Instagram, it's on there. February something was my first closing, so I did it in the first month that I was a realtor. I got my first deal January. I transitioned January 1st. I got my first deal January 4th, and then I had them in their house by February 11th or some date like that. So I worked quick. And after doing that, I was like, all right, full steam ahead. So I got more clients and stuff, but also through a friend at my college, I was going to be putting on this big event for talking about kind of my life story and It was called A Story of Second Chances, and just talking about all the things that I've been through and the ups and downs. The like you get there, then you fail, then you come back, and it's actually a perfect for going forward, like what we plan to talk about. So that was supposed to be March 11th, and the anniversary is actually anniversary. It's actually coming up. It was supposed to be March 11th, and lo and behold, they say everything happens for a reason. I truly believe in that mentality, and it ended up getting canceled. I don't think that I was fully prepared for what I was taking on. There was said to be like 100 plus people coming. This is going to be my first real big event, and uh, big sister COVID. What do they call her? Big COVID. Shut that down. The day of the event, maybe 3 hours before, I had already dressed up in a suit and everything. My school emailed us and they said all school events like are canceled. This was on a Tuesday. They said classes are going to go until Thursday. After that, y'all got to go home. So they said no events. Go right to class. Go back to your room. This is when we didn't really know much about it. And they said after Thursday, you guys are going to go home. So that kind of put like a hole in my sail because I was going hard. I had a determination like no other to just get things done. I didn't know that put a hole in my sail yet, but I would soon come to find out. So after we end up, this is all still 2020. After they make us go home, we transition to online school, and I have to go back home. I start to live with my grandmother again. Long story short, when I was living with my mom, I told her to turn my room into my little sister's room. I said, "Don't worry about it," because I bought a house. So I said, "I'm not gonna need to come home anytime soon." I planned on being on college and being at college. And then all my weekends I was working on my house. I said, by the time May comes, I bought the house in December 2019. I said, by the time May comes, I should be able to live there. Like, it shouldn't be too big of a deal. Lo and behold, it wasn't ready yet when they kicked us out. So after giving up my room at my mother's house, I was like, all right, it's time to go live. I got to live somewhere. So I went and lived in my grandmother's basement for a little while. And then, honestly, it's for the first time in a very long time, I got to just relax. I was normally working 2 jobs or 3 jobs, going to school, and just doing a lot. So when they transitioned school to online, and they gave us like a little break too, because our teachers had no online curriculum. Like, they didn't have anything ready. So they said, all right, let's take a couple days and get something ready, give the students off, get time to adjust and get whatever technology they need set up. And I guess you guys have never heard me say it. I have a computer that I made, call it Bertha. So I have a big desktop. So what I'm getting at is I already had all the technology I need. I have 2 monitors, like a custom keyboard and everything, custom mouse pad. So from there, like, I just relaxed. I had to take all my stuff to my grandma's house, so I just was playing my PlayStation 4. 5 wasn't out at the time. PlayStation 4 right in her basement, just chilling, playing, and then eventually, as my brain does, I was like, all right, I can't just sit here. Like, I got to go accomplish something. So after about 2 weeks of doing that, I said, well, I can't do my school job anymore, and all my real estate clients are in North Jersey, and we're in a global pandemic. I don't think that I can just go and meet random people and say, hey, I guess I should say that. That's also why I had to take a break, because we're in a pandemic. We weren't allowed to leave the house. This was the first, real quarantine where they said, don't leave, don't go to the grocery store, don't do anything. They had a shutdown in New Jersey. They said, be in your houses by 8. So I was like, all right, if I can't leave, and I was living with my grandparents, I said, I can't leave and come back and give them the virus. I think I'll be okay. But I was like, I'll just stay in the house. So after, it makes sense that I said about 2 to 3 weeks, because it was the first quarantine. After about 2 to 3 weeks, I said, I got to do something. And that's when this local Amazon was hiring. I saw these ads, and they were giving hazard pay, and then they were giving another more pay for nighttime. So I was like, all right, I could do that. But it was a little further away from my grandmother's house, but it was really close to my new house, which was not ready at all. So I said, okay, I can go. I'll just go live in the house that's not ready, and I'll go to work, and I'll figure it out. Anytime I'm not at work, I'll work on the house. And that part wasn't a mistake, but everything after it was. And it's okay. I truly believe you're supposed to make mistakes in this life, in this world, so that you can learn from them and then continue to grow. So as I continue to do this talk and then talk about lessons I've learned, the only reason I'm able to talk about lessons I've learned is because I made all these mistakes. So at the time, we'll get into all this, but at the time you might not know that you're making a mistake, or you feel like what you're doing is right, and then it might be wrong, and that's okay. Like you're supposed to allow yourself the liberty to be right or wrong, or just free to, you know what I mean? Like, imagine if what I did was the right thing to do, and that my house was done by now, a year early or something. Like, it's not, and that's okay. Now I have all these lessons I've learned. You gotta, it's a balance. Regardless, you're going to gain something. So, I started working at the Amazon and living at this house that wasn't ready. Everything in it was most likely original. The house was built in 1957. They had this green. Eventually, I'm gonna post everything on Instagram. If you guys want to see it, it's at the Duron Coles. Everything is at the Duron Coles. It had like this ugly green carpet with stains on it. It looked like there was this one stain that looked like somebody died. And very honestly, it was like a big stain. There was like a water pipe leak, so the water wasn't like really on. The water was on, but I had to. The water was on at the town, but it was off here because if it was on, it would continue to leak. And then now the water bill was in my name, so I was like, I got to turn it off. So there was really no water. I got the electricity turned on a while ago, so I was always paying the electric bill because I had to get the heat on. I had to get the heat on so that the pipes wouldn't break. Because even though I'm not using the water here, no one was living here, the pipes could just freeze and break. So I had to keep the house at least at like 60 degrees, anything above 32, so that the pipes don't freeze and break. Because it was still winter time when I bought the house. So to get to the point, like I said, I started working at the Amazon, started working on the house, and I was going hard. Going kind of extremely hard. I was working 12-hour days, 4 days a week, and then whenever I was sleeping like, my schedule, I was working from 6 p.m. to 4:45 a.m., and I would get home at about 5:15 a.m. Then I'd sleep till about 11 a.m. and then work on the house until I had to go to work every day. So I was sleeping about 5 hours. It's not too bad, 5-6 hours, and I was just doing that every day. And whenever I wasn't working, I was trying to learn how to work, do it like through YouTube and stuff. Like I said, after 2019, after the beginning of 2020, making my first sale and just going extremely hard, I still had that mindset, like nothing's going to stop me. So I just was going full steam ahead. I was trying to, this bathroom that I'm still working on, I was working on it back then, and I made a lot of mistakes that I'm fixing now, which is where the lessons of 2020 is coming from. I got a lot of advice on this home. It is actually like a good transition. It's going to seem like so sudden and abrupt, but it's a good transition. I got a lot of advice from contractors, from my dad, from my mom, from my grandma, my grandfather, like everybody gave me a lot of advice on this. And prior to 2020, and I still have a little bit of this mindset, just a little bit, but prior to 2020, I like to listen to Gary Vee and what Drake said. Gary Vee says, like, don't take advice, just go. And he said, you can listen to what people have to say, but you make the final decision. And Drake Drake said something along the lines of like, "Don't take advice. That was great advice." And I was like always strong on that mindset. You can't limit me what I can do. People would tell me like, oh, well, you can't do that, or maybe you should wait for this or whatever. And welcome, brother. And like I said, my family told me like, well, don't destroy the whole house. Like, do one section at a time. You're gonna burn yourself out if you destroy the whole house. And I said, well, like I said, I had that mindset of you don't need to take anyone's advice. No one knows you. You know you and the things that you're capable of. So I destroyed the entire house at the same time. The upstairs bathroom, the kitchen, the living room, all the bedrooms, the carpet everywhere, the floor. I destroyed everything. Now, because of that, it's, like I said, lessons of 2020, it's cost me way more now than it would have back then if I just would have listened. If I said, all right, I want to do one bathroom, just the upstairs, and I want to leave the kitchen and the bedrooms. And the destroying the bedrooms wasn't too bad. The only thing I did for the bedrooms was I took up all the carpet and the floor underneath, and I replaced the subfloor, and then I got new carpet, and then I got the walls painted. So the bedrooms wasn't too hard to do, but destroying the kitchen and the living room and the bathroom all at the same time have affected the whole operation, because I went from doing one project to three, and it slowed me down exponentially. So that's why a year later, I'm still working on the same bathroom that I was back then. Especially, like I said, the schedule that I was putting myself on, I was doing 6 p.m. to 4:45 night shift, and then waking up at 11 and then doing more, when I was working at Amazon, it was manual labor. I had to toss the boxes and do everything. So my body was already hurting. And then from 11 a.m. to, like I said, maybe I would leave for work at like 5:30. Up until then, I was also doing more manual labor. I would go destroy walls, or go take up carpet, or go take up the floor, or had to be on my hands and knees scrubbing to try to clean so I could lay tile down. It was a lot on my body. So that burnt by the time it was like Mayish, I would say. Like I said, I moved in the house late March, beginning April. After Mayish, my body was exhausted, and I tapped out. Every time I'd come home from work, I'd sleep longer, I'd want to relax, play more games, or watch this or whatever. My motivation was still there, but my body just gave out on me. So, but between May and June and like July, plus it was getting warmer, I started working on outside stuff, trying to make the outside look pretty. So I added more to my plate, and I didn't know what to do. I didn't have a plan. So that was the first lesson of 2020, or I guess the second one, because the first one was, which I learned later. I didn't know that at the time in March, but later I learned it's okay to take advice. You don't have to be, like, for lack of a better term, selfish and think that you know everything. And that's fine that you don't know everything. That's why people have been put in your life to teach you things, and they say, hey, I've done this before, I've seen this before. When my grandmother told me, and I just thought my grandmother was doubting me, because not that my grandmother is one of my biggest cheerleaders, so I don't want to put anything negative on her, nothing like that. But when I told her I'm going to fix the house and I don't have any prior knowledge of construction, she was like, I don't think that's a good idea. So I was like, well, you don't know what I'm capable of. Like, I'm going to hit this full steam ahead. And I've learned more about construction than I could ever imagine. And I'll give you an example on that later. But so when she was saying those things about don't do it, and I was like, you don't understand. When she said the same thing as don't destroy the house all at the same time, I thought she was coming from that same mindset. Like, I don't think that you're able to do this. You should hire like a professional. When she said don't destroy the whole house, I was like, well, why wouldn't I attack it all at once? Like, why would you tell me not to do that? I know what I'm doing. I did not know what I was doing. I had no idea what I was doing. So that was lesson number one. Just, it's okay to take advice. Take heed to what the people are telling you, and just try to think logically. I do my best to live with no regrets, but as far as the house, destroying everything is my one and only regret. However, it has taught me more it taught me all these lessons, like I said. So in that sense, I don't regret it. I really don't. Um, but the second lesson was to have a plan. I thought that I had a thought out, thorough, well detailed plan on what steps I wanted to take for my home. But looking back, I did not. I was like a wild man with his head cut off trying to attack 4, 5, 6 projects all at the same time. One day I would go work on the bathroom. Then I would work outside in my backyard trying to get there's these 2 ugly bushes up. Then the next day I would go in my front yard trying to get these bushes up. Mind you, the bathroom that I started on was like a month ago. And then now I'm trying to work on the kitchen walls and the living room and the basement and the downstairs bathroom. So here we are. I started working on that bathroom in April of last year. Now it's February 2020. It's February 2021, and I'm not done the bathroom. I've done a lot more. Like, I've done everything, and I've bought more tools than I can handle. But I could have done a lot more if I had a detailed, thorough plan. And the third lesson that I've learned, I guess this is 3 and 4. The third lesson I learned was just because you haven't accomplished a big project or something massive doesn't mean you haven't accomplished anything at all. As you guys have been hearing me say, I've been putting all this pressure on myself, like get the house done by these unrealistic guidelines or timelines. That was something I guess I didn't expand on thoroughly. When I had my inspector come for, I bought the house in December. December 11th was my closing date. So I had my inspector come in like October 2019. And he was also a contractor. He said, how much do you think this is going to cost you and how long do you think it's going to take? I said, well, but let's say we close in like December. I think it could be done by like June or like March or something. And it should only cost me like maybe like $12,000 something. He said, oh, wow. He said, you really have never done this. Like it's going to cost you way more and take you way longer. I was like, you really think so? Nah, I'm doing all the labor myself and blah, blah, blah. He said, yeah. He said, you'll see. Don't worry about it. You'll see. And I just was like, why is everybody doubting me? Why is everybody doubting me? But he's a professional. I should have obviously taken heed to what he said. It was not done by May or June at all. And looking back, I was telling him those timelines, and I didn't even plan on living in the house. That's when I was still in college, and I was just going to be using my weekends to work on the house. So I was very, very unrealistic, and it's not because it was 2 things. It was a lack of knowledge and just pure determination. You know what I mean? Like, and I don't think that the latter is bad, but it could put you into a lot of situations. So back to, like I said, the lessons. Number 3 was just because you haven't accomplished something massive doesn't mean you haven't accomplished anything at all. Something that I do is, if I'm working on, we could use the bathroom. If I'm working on a big project like that, I'm like, okay, I want to, I'll instead of using the minute details, like, okay, first I want to do this, and that, I'll give myself a big plan. Like, I want to tile the bathroom today. But there's a lot of steps that come before tiling the bathroom. First, you have to, if let's just assume everything else has been removed, right? You have to put up a new wall. You have to make sure that there's no gaps that water can get through. You have to waterproof whatever wall you put up. If you're assuming you're using like a cement backer board or something, and I don't want to get too technical and stuff, but assuming you're using like a cement backer board, you can buy a product called Red Guard and paint the whole thing. And then after that, you have to make sure that your tiles on the bottom row are level. If your tiles on the bottom row are level, everything you stack up on that will be level. And that takes time too. So giving myself a huge project or a huge ordeal, and then having to live the rest of life, assume that as well. Like, okay, I want to get the tiles done today. Me, if I don't get the tiles done, I'll be disappointed in myself. Like, dang, I really didn't do much today. But what I used to fail to take into consideration is I did all the steps that I was going to have to do anyway. All of those are now completed. So now the next day or whenever else I have time, I can just go and tile. So that was the third lesson I've learned. And it took me a while because of the society we live in. We live in an instant gratification society with you post a picture, someone likes it, and you feel good about yourself. We want things to be done instantaneously, and that's not realistic. That it's not realistic at all. I'm like, okay, like just like I was telling the contractor, oh, I can get this done practically instantly. He said it's going to take time, and now my timeline is like, all right, it'll probably be done within the next year and a half, 2 years. And people that don't know the business, they like, Dag, you've had this house for that long, and it's going to take that long? Yeah, you're just like me. I thought that it would take a couple months too. My boss for my real estate as well, he told me the same thing. I said, oh, it should be done by this, and that time. He said, do you have a team? Like, if it's just you, it's going to take way longer than that. You need like a team of like 10 people for it to be that fast. And I was like, why does everyone keep saying that? Like, they just don't know. But I was cocky and selfish. I did not know. Which leads me to, like I said, I had a fourth lesson. Even if I can't think of it, I have tons more. Another lesson I learned on top of the instant gratification society was delayed gratification. This is the biggest like ordeal in my life besides the show. These are the two things right now that are teaching me delayed gratification. Because with the show, I don't know if anyone knows this, and I plan on making like a short Instagram video about it later as well. The show, for me, is not something I'm trying to make to go viral or to get 1 million people in Clubhouse, like live listeners, or to get 10 million YouTube people watching or listening. The show, it could become that. I would be fine with that. But this is still in its infant stages, and everyone daily tries to give me advice on like, oh, this is how you can get more live listeners. This is how you can get your YouTube views up. But they're assuming that that's my goal. And that's not my goal. Like I've been preaching to everyone, the show is about my consistency and also delayed gratification. If I can do the show every day, Monday through Friday, 7:30 to 8:30, and I don't quit, then it's a success for me. Not if I have 10,000 people listening live at the same time. If I have 1 viewer or 10 viewer or 0 viewers, I'm going to do the show every single day without quitting. That's what the show is for. So what I was getting into, lesson 4, was delayed gratification. It's okay for the show to not blow up overnight and for it to take a year. That's fine. It's okay for me to not finish the bathroom, to keep using that one because that's what I'm working on right now, to not finish the bathroom in a day. I was working on my mom's bathroom, and I told her it could take a weekend. I was like, it'll just take me 1 weekend. After the weekend, it wasn't done. And I had to stay for an extra 4 or 5 days at her house to get it done. So these unrealistic timelines that I put on myself, it's fine. Like, it's okay to not get something done instantly. But that's not what we're taught today. We're taught by the time you're 22 or you're 23, you need to have it all figured out. Why don't you have a job and kids and a wife yet? And then when you talk to someone that's 30 or 35, even they don't have it figured out. You talk to someone that's 40 or 45, they don't have it figured out yet. We're just living life trying to figure it out daily. But that's not what we're taught. So this home and this morning show have given me the grace and the opportunity to have something that is delayed. And it's okay. And it's hard. I'm making it sound like it's easy. It's really hard. Not so much for the show, because I know what my goals are for the show, but my house, every day I'm like, why can't this just be over? Why can't this be finished? But at the same time, I understand that in 2 years, 3 years, 5 years, I'll look back with the delayed gratification and go, oh wow, like that was a project that you had no idea about, and now look how much you've learned, look how much you've accomplished. And it'll be so much greater then. It's better than just having something done instantly or paying someone all these tens of thousands of dollars that I don't have to get the house done just so that it's done. Like, you know what? Let's go in debt. Let's get a loan or something. Pay somebody to get it done just so that it's done because I want it done instantly. It's not worth. And like I said, I would give an example later. When I first got this house, and like I said, the water was off because the water was on, but there was a leak. So I physically had to turn the water off, or there would have been the leak was in the backyard. Like the hose wasn't connected all the way, so it would have made the water bill go up exponentially for no reason. So it just wasn't worth to have on, and I didn't know how to fix it. So I asked my dad, like, can you please come fix it? And he was away working, so it took him like a while to get up here, and he fixed it so quickly. And I was like, yo, how did he do that? And I had no idea what a shark bite was or a pipe cutter. And he grabbed, to me, what was foreign at the time, he grabbed some sandpaper and sanded this pipe and cut it off. And I was like, what is he doing? I didn't understand. And now, that was, I don't even know when that was, maybe March. That was March of 2020. Now February, almost March of 2021. I repiped my whole entire bathroom. Not just the copper pipes, but the PVC drain pipes. I redid the whole thing. And that is a lesson in delayed gratification. If I would have just used all my money at the time and said, I'm going to pay someone to do this, then I would still know nothing about construction, nothing about plumbing, nothing about electrical work. All the lessons that I've learned are from failure. I had and not only just from failure, but from people that I said I didn't have to take advice from before. I said, oh, I don't have to take advice. Like, I can go attack this selfishly instead of just trying to take everybody with me and take the lessons that they're trying to teach me. I was trying to do it alone. So going from not knowing anything about sandpaper, let alone a pipe, like a pipe cutter, to repiping the whole bathroom. I've redid the entire electric work inside my bathroom. I'm about to I tore down all the walls and put them back up. I did the drywall, and then I had to plaster everything with I had to mud it and sand it and tape it. Put in the vanity. I took the entire floor out. I replaced the not just the tiles, but underneath your tile, the wood that's under there, it's called a subfloor. I took up the subfloor. I had to order it, replace the whole thing. Then I put down, if you're going to tile your bathroom floor, you have to put down a cement board. That's like a water resistant cement board. I put that down, then tiled the floor. Me and my girlfriend just finished painting the tub. This house came with a pink tub, and it's a cast iron tub. So rather than replace it with a plastic one, this one's actually better to have. It's heavier and it doesn't expand as much when you fill up a bathtub with hot water. Hot anything makes things expand. So it's better to have this one. It's better insulated. It doesn't expand as much. You don't have to nail it to the wall because it's so heavy. It's literally an iron tub. We painted that. So I'm just giving you guys examples of all the things that I've been able to learn. And that's just in one area. That's not even me talking about. My uncle came up here and taught me how to put in recessed lighting in my living room. I had to rewire basically almost the entire house by myself. Not the downstairs yet. I haven't done anything downstairs, but it's a bi-level like home. So everything upstairs is basically done. It's taken me a year to this point, but all I have left is to tile the shower wall, put in a toilet, then the bathroom's done. Then put in the cabinets for the kitchen, put in the tile backsplash. I already have all the appliances, and then the kitchen's done. I already have most of the furniture for my living room, so then that's done. The carpet has been installed, and then I have to get the hardwood floor installed, and then I rest. And this is not an unrealistic timeline. Hopefully the house is completely done by, I would say, not completely, the upstairs is completely done, I would say, by June. If this is February now, maybe middle of May, beginning of June, right before the summertime. So that is that was just a little bit on 2020. Like I said, a lot of life lessons. I wouldn't, if I could redo it over, I wouldn't. I've done tons and tons and tons of failure. I've gotten shocked from electrical stuff. I have flooded my bathroom a couple times now. Because I thought that the pipe work I did was good. Wasn't. Same thing with the drain pipes. Well, the drain pipes weren't too bad. The drain, I don't want to get too technical, but with the drain pipe there needs to be a slope and everything, because the drain needs to, the water can't just sit there. So there's codes for all of this stuff. You can't just do it. You have to go to the town, tell them you're doing it, and they ask you, are you going to pay someone, you're doing it yourself? I'm doing it myself. And they say, well, here are the codes you have to abide by. Like, they don't give you a piece of paper. It's like a website, and it needs to have this amount of slope and this and you need to measure all that stuff. Then they have to check it and make sure you did it right, or they'll fail you, or then you can't sell the house. So it's a lot. But it's about 8:10. I'll open up the floor for any questions early. This was just a little about just what 2020 taught me. I still have more time, so if there are no questions after I open the floor, I will definitely just keep on spieling and saying more lessons I've learned. Alright, if there are no questions, I'll just keep going. Something else I learned in 2020 is, I want to word this correctly. That's the only way to word it. Everyone won't know your plan, and that's okay. And that's just a life lesson I've learned. But in 2020, it definitely taught me everyone won't know your plan, and you should still attack it anyway. Even if you think it's going to fail, even if everyone else is telling you it's going to fail, you should still attack it anyway. And I learned that through I get told not to do so many things, and just because of the person I am, I do them anyway. I got told not to buy the car that I bought, or buy a car, period. I went and did that. They said, are you sure you want to stay in North Jersey? When I got my real estate license, I didn't know if I was coming back to South Jersey or if I was going to move. Everyone said, are you sure you want to do this in North Jersey, and you should wait? So I did it anyway. Are you sure you want to buy a house? Like, are you positive? Yep, I went and did it anyway. Are you sure you're ready? I'm not sure I'm ready, but I'm going to do it anyway. And if I fail, I just fail. Like, if I fail, I fail, man. That's the next life lesson that 2020 taught me. Life is too short for me to be worried about, like, if I fail. You know what I mean? If you fail, then you fail. And if you mess up, then you mess up. Yeah, I mess up things every single day that I just have to fix. Though this episode might as well have been called The Bathroom, but for the bathroom, when I was working on it, I was trying to rewire the electrical, and it was I don't know how to explain it, but basically how do you explain that? The breaker, the circuit, let's call it like that. So the circuit that the bathroom is on is kind of connected to my bedroom and to everywhere. So once I messed that up, I thought I did all the wiring right for what my uncle taught me in the bathroom. I didn't. So all the lights in my bedroom and my bathroom and my hallway and everything connected to them were off for maybe like 3 days until I figured it out. All my computers, my Wi-Fi, my TV, everything. So it was if I wanted to charge my phone, I had to go downstairs. If I wanted to look up a video and like, hey, how do I do this? I had to go downstairs, charge my phone, watch it. Couldn't watch it on my computer. And it took me 3 days just to figure out how to rewire the bathroom. And at the time, it sucked. And I was like, I can't believe this is happening. What am I going to do? But I figured it out. Now it's perfectly fine. But Now on top of that, I know exactly how all the electric works in my bedroom, in my bathroom. I had to take all of it apart because I didn't understand what was going on and why it wasn't working the way I was doing it. And basically, in a very long story short, I was not supplying power to one of the wires that needed to go, so it was a incomplete circuit. But you know what I mean? Like that's just it. Life is too short for me to be, and I have such first world problems. I have to analyze and tell myself that every single day. Every time I get stressed about a bathroom not being done, or a wire not working, or it's not long enough, and I gotta go inside the attic and redo the whole thing because I had to cut the wire. Now it's too short, so I gotta take that wire out, go get new wire. Like, all of this that I'm complaining about is such first world issues. Not, oh, I don't have a house to live in, or oh, I don't have food or water or shelter. My wires are too short. Like, the things that I'm able to complain about, I'm blessed. I have to remind myself that every single day. COVID didn't take me out. It didn't take out anybody in my family. I'm blessed. You know what I mean? Like, every single day. And I can't remind myself of that enough. It might suck, like, to me, in my perspective. I'm like, yo, this house or the work seems never ending. I have to work Monday through Friday. I ended up I didn't tell the rest of the 2020 story. Amazon cut their hazard pay, so that like cut my pay by a lot. So I was like, okay, I need another job. And plus I was graduating. They cut it in about, they cut it about June-ish. So I was like, all right. I think it was June 30th they cut it. And I was about to graduate in August. I technically graduated in May, but they said I had to take one more. Like, I had to take an English class. I didn't have enough sufficient credits, so I had to take an English class to actually graduate from college. So I was like, all right, if I'm like, I basically graduated, let me apply for other jobs. So I got another job and because I couldn't do real estate the way I wanted to because I wasn't in North Jersey anymore, I was like, well, I might as well keep it in the same family. So I work for a mortgage company right now. So what I was about to say is sometimes I feel like the work is never ending because I work 9 to 5, 8, well, really 8:30 to 5:30. You can call it whatever you want to call it. I do that Monday through Friday. And then as soon as that's done, now that I have the show, I have to upload the show, I have to figure out what I'm going to talk about for the next day. And on top of that, I have to go tile a bathroom or go to Home Depot and buy some more stuff or go do manual labor, and it doesn't end. And sometimes it's overwhelming, and I start to complain like, oh, this is just woe is me, and it's just too much, and I don't know what to do. But I'm blessed to even have this opportunity to do it. And like I said, it's delayed gratification. I might feel poor right now, or like, oh, I don't have enough money for all this stuff that I want to do. But if I'm able to flip this house the way I want to, all the money's going to come and pour in. It could be life-changing. But it's not instant. It's not instant gratification. You got to get out of that mindset. I'm not going to be able to fix it in a week and then get the money. It's going to take some time. It's going to take about a year and a half more time for me to accomplish what I want to accomplish. And we have to have that pushed out mindset. We don't really plan things out for that long. For me to have a plan that's going to take that long, and I know I have to go the days ins and outs, or that isn't what I wanted to say. The day ins and the day outs. I have to do it every single day, and it's going to suck. Like, I have to put that in my head and quantify it and go, yeah, it might suck, but it's going to be worth it. And we can do that if something takes like a week or something, or maybe like a month. We can go, this sucks, and I know it, but I can get through it. For me to have to establish in my head, it's going to take a year and a half, and it might suck. The only thing you can do is change your mindset and say it doesn't suck. Look at all the things that you can gain out of it. And the only way that I'm able to do that, me personally, is I look back. I look back on, okay, look at how you felt about it before, and look at a year has passed now, almost a year, and look at all the things you've accomplished. Imagine what you'll be able to say next year. This time, let's call it March 1st, 2022. What will the house look like? What knowledge will you have gained? It will be like truly life changing. And then maybe think about a year after that, 2023, March 1st. What will things look like? Because time is going to keep going regardless. Time don't care about me. And I think it didn't take me a long time to realize that time is going to keep moving, but it takes me a while, or took me a while to figure out that Newton's what is it, first law? every action has a equal and opposite reaction. Like the house or the work, period, the work will not get done without someone doing it. So either pay somebody to do it or you do it. That's it. Nothing will happen without something happening. You can't just sit here. I can't sit here and expect it to get done. And I can sit here and complain about it and then go, it sucks. And guess what? In tomorrow, in a year's time, in 2 years' time, if I complain and sit here and go, it sucks, it will still suck because no one has done anything about it. So I can either do something about it and make it not suck, or I can sit here and complain about it and say that it sucks. And I would prefer to do the former and suck it up and keep working. So on that note, I'll open up the floor for questions for the last time because I let like maybe 20 minutes pass. And if there are no questions, we will end it there for episode 29. I'll do a quick recap after the questions. And we will go tack this Monday and have a great day. All right. If there are no questions, like I said, I'll do a quick recap. I just talked. I do not remember the numbers I went over. Like I did like 6 lessons or more, but I remember what I talked about. Basically, I just talked about delayed gratification and how, trust me, the goals that you're working at day to day, they're worth it. They are more than worth it. I talked about not being selfish and taking people's advice. Like take heed to it. You might not, even if you don't use it, take heed to their advice and don't ignore it completely. I gave tons of examples. There are tons of things, tons of people, and tons of things I should have taken heed to, but I just ignored it because I'm me, and I said I'm the greatest and I can accomplish whatever I want to accomplish. And you can, and I can, but doesn't mean you have to work harder. You're supposed to work smarter, not harder. So if someone is telling you, Imagine if I said, I'm going to get from point A to point B, and I'm going to go in this long, drawn-out circle, and someone says, no, bro, I've been there before. Go straight. Like, just go straight. And I'm like, nah, I know. I got this. I've done this before. Or I know what I'm doing. I'm the best. And now it's taking me 6 hours to get somewhere. It's going to take me 10 minutes to get to. Just take advice. I also talked about letting yourself feel accomplished. It's okay to take the small wins. Just because if I told myself I want to have my house done in a year or something, and the whole house isn't done, but there are all the steps that it would have taken for it to be done. If it's not 100% complete, but now it's 67% complete, take that win. It's okay to take that win and say, well, I'm not at zero anymore. I've moved forward. The famous saying is, they say, shoot for the moon and maybe you'll land on a star. Like, it's okay to take the wins and feel that you've accomplished something, even if your big goal hasn't been completely accomplished. And I know I talked about more than that, but those were the big ones for me. It's okay to feel accomplished. Get out of that instant gratification mindset. I know that we've literally been warped to feel that way, but delayed gratification is sweeter. I promise you. I promise you. When you look back, when you're just sitting there and you're relaxing and you look back and you go, dang, like things have really changed for me. It's such a great feeling. It's better than just sacrificing everything for like an instant gratification or something. And like I said, take advice. Take it from me. Take my advice and take advice. All right, on there I will end it. It's 8:23 a.m. February 22nd, 2021. A beautiful Monday. Go attack it. You can follow me on all social media platforms at the Duron Coles, and I will see you guys here for episode 30 tomorrow, 7:30 to 8:30. Peace.